Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is awesome! Hello and welcome to Cheap Shot Entertainment. We're continuing our retro review series of the year 2000 and we're going straight into the November pay-per-view known as Survivor Series. It was the year 2000 and it took place on the 19th of November in the year 2000. It's from the Ice Palace in Tampa, Florida, and we have King and good old JR on commentary, the man that likes to reference cheap shots quite a lot now on his new programme on Channel 3 rather, ITV here in the UK. Yeah, what a commentary team that was. We've had them for the whole of the year 2000 as we move drastically towards the end of the year 2000 and into 2001. The first match on this card is a bit of a throwaway match. It is TNA, that is Test and Albert, along with Trish, and they are going against Molly Holly, Molly Holly, Crash Holly, and Steve Blackman, who is completely wasted here as the hardcore champion. So it would be the ladies that would steal the show here. Well, as they say steal the show, it would be the ladies who would finish the match as the guys were fighting each other on the outside of the ring. Molly Holly would do a diving sunset flip onto Trish Stratus, of course, who was learning the ropes literally at this point in time and getting better as we spoke throughout the year 2000. Still not quite at that status yet, but Stratusfaction was almost guaranteed by this point. However, like I say, diving sunset flip from Molly Holly gives the Hollies and Steve Blackman a victory in the first match. I'm going to give this one cheap shot out of 5, very much a throwaway match, with very little redeeming. Well, I can think of 2 redeeming features, but I think I'd get hate if I told you about those 2. Maybe 4 redeeming features, actually. I'm male, after all. Anyway, moving on, shall we? Adrian Christian talked to Kurt Angle as he asked them to get his back, and after they've all won their respective matches, going out for a drink, asking if a certain drink was in a non-alcoholic version, just for Kurt Angle, because you know the Olympic hero likes to exercise intelligence as well as integrity and intensity. So we move on. The first of 2 traditional Survivor Series matches on the card. It is Chyna and Billy Gunn along with Road Dogg and K Quick, because they're getting rowdy, versus the Radicals, which would be Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn, and of course they had the little she-devil known as Terry. So we're going straight into this one. Chyna gets an Intercontinental Championship to the side of the head from her ex Eddie Guerrero. Perry Saturn gets the first pin and Chyna is out. We next get Guerrero gone as a press power slam from Billy Gunn gets rid of the Intercontinental Championship, and the champion, of course. K Quick goes next. It is German suplex time from Chris Benoit, and he gets the German suplex pin on K Quick. Road Dogg goes next with a Northern Lights suplex. The Radicals really showing off their wrestling ability and their ability to hit many different suplexes only Brock Lesnar could be proud of, or even try and hit, because he only had literally pretty much one suplex ever. Anyway, Malenko goes next and he gets eliminated by the famous from Billy Gunn, avenging his long-time tag partner and friend China in some way, shape or form. Malenko is gone. Gunn is on his own now against the two radicals that are left, and Gunn's foot is held by Perry Saturn as Benoit gets the pin as Billy Gunn goes for the suplex from the outside. I think he had like a move called the One and Only. It was like a Falcon Arrow sort of thing. And the Radicals win. I did actually quite like this match. It was 2.5 cheap shots out of 5. Middle of the road, nothing special, but not too bad either. So we move on. Jericho versus Kane, the match that was set up by Jericho dropping coffee on Kane and burning him. Of course, very much scarred is Kane from the coffee burning him. There's no way that coffee was hot because it actually looked like brown liquid. It makes me wonder what Jericho had actually done in that cup. Anyway, it would be Kane who would pick up the victory here after a very mediocre match. It was okay, it wasn't great. Again, much the story of this pay-per-view, but certainly much better than No Mercy the month before. I'm going to give this 2 cheap shots out of 5 as Kane catches Jericho on the lion salt with a choke slam after Jericho reverses the tombstone pile driver. Kane gets the win and some redemption for the spilt coffee from Chris Jericho. I get the feeling that these two are being very much underused at this point in time. We're thinking about Jericho coming in with massive fanfare and he's now reduced to a match about coffee. Yeah, we'll sing that one in, shall we? European Championship next. It is the one and only William Regal. Hello! Because William Regal is absolutely fantastic, you little ragabond. So William Regal versus Hardcore Holly. Yeah, Hardcore Holly is very much, trailer park, and William Regal is, well, from Blackpool, so pretty much the same. But he talks very posh and he's very funny on the mic and he's British. So I'm going to support William Regal for all he's worth. Anyway, the title shot to the head gives Regal the win after Regal working on the previously broken arm of Hardcore Holly. Holly snaps, he grabs the title, hits Regal over the head. The referee sees this. Regal wins via disqualification because Hardcore Holly thought that Regal was going to break his arm again, and he obviously didn't want that. So yeah, Regal wins by disqualification. I'm going to give this 2 cheap shots out of 5. It was okay while the wrestling was actually happening, but then the title shot just took it away. But Regal is great, and that's what got it the extra cheap shot out of 5. Otherwise it would have been a 1. I'll be honest, it would have been a 1, but Regal always gets the extra cheap shot because he was the master of the cheap shot. Anyway, let's move on. Rikishi versus The Rock. This one's been building up for months and months and months in the year 2000, starting, in fact it's been building up for over a year, starting with Rikishi running over Stone Cold, blaming it on The Rock. The Rock taking umbrage to that. Obviously Rikishi then costing The Rock the championship at No Mercy. Kurt Angle crying and all of that jazz. So The Rock comes down like a house on fire. He's absolutely on fire at the beginning of this match. He's wanting to take out his cousin, his real life cousin, I might add, in this match. He's really working him over. And after lots of fighting on the inside and on the outside, with Rikishi getting the upper hand and then coming back to The Rock would win with a clothesline spinebuster people's elbow for the win. Rikishi, of course, is a bad man and gives The Rock several bonsai drops in a row, referencing, of course, their other cousin, Yokozuna. back in the day. Of course, Yokozuna is sadly not with us anymore. He was a big guy and, promptly had a terrible, shocking heart attack. Nasty, really, but he was a big guy. So there you go. Anyway, The Rock wins, gets some measure of revenge against his cousin going into the month of December, where we get 2 pay-per-views, which we're going to bring you both of those during, well, what is now the second lockdown in the UK. So I've got plenty of time to be watching those things and doing and getting ahead of myself in terms of the wrestling goodness that was the year 2000. I'm going to give this 3 cheap shots out of 5 because it was very middle. It was slightly better than middle. It was good. I mean, it was The Rock and Rikishi. Rikishi's no good on the mic, but he was very good as a performer in the ring and going against someone who he trusts. You can tell these guys had a lot of chemistry, and that was part of the main event picture at the time, and it was all building up to the Hell in a Cell match, the 6-person Armageddon Hell in a Cell match that we get at Armageddon of the same year, which we still have to review. So, like I say, after the match, The Rock would get beaten up by Rikishi with 3 bonsai drops after he got a massive kick to the jaw. Always very impressed by the agility of the big man Rikishi. WWF Women's Championship is up for grabs next. It is Ivory, the current champion, member of the Right to Censor, versus Lita. Of course, Lita. La Lita. Anyway, Lita Salt attempt onto Ivory. First time she misses because Steven Richards gets involved, pulls Ivory out of the ring. She gets the upper hand again and tries the Lita Salt again, but the title belt is in the ring at the time, and Lita promptly Lita Salts onto the championship and loses the match, with Ivory pinning Lita while the referee is being distracted by that nerd Steven Richards. I got an appreciation of the Right to Censor these days. I mean, it's a bit like Money Incorporated. I hated Money Incorporated back in the day. I've still got their figures up here, actually. In fact, my mate Josh has rearranged my figure collection, and currently Big Boss Man is doing something rather naughty to IRS. I need to go and sort that out, actually, at some point. Anyway, like I say, the referee is being distracted, and Ivory gets the pin, and that is that. I'm going to give this 1 cheap shot out of 5. Too much interference here. Let the ladies be the ladies. The year 2000, the women's division was absolutely stacked, really, but didn't really get much fanfare. I mean, a lot of the ladies were tied up in other a lot of the ladies were involved in other storylines, which was a shame, because you could have had Molly Holly and perhaps even Trish Stratus. She was getting better in the title picture at the time. Of course, you got Lita, you've got Ivory, who was a very good wrestler, but embroiled in this sort of prudish behaviour with Right to Censor. And it was just a big shame that they didn't do more with the women's division back in the year 2000. We are on to the first part of the double main event. It is the WWF Championship. It is Kurt Angle, the newly minted champion, versus the dead man, the Undertaker. And I really enjoyed this match. It's Kurt Angle at his best. It's his heelish best. Edge and Christian distract the referee initially for Angle to chop the Undertaker down. He said he was going to try and bring the big man down by attacking his legs, and that's exactly what he did. It doesn't take Undertaker very long to get back on top. Throws Kurt Angle out of the ring. Kurt Angle scurries under the ring. There's no way for a champion to behave. Eventually, the Undertaker manages to pull him out and throw him back in the ring. Last ride to Kurt Angle, and Undertaker gets the pin. Hold on a second. The referee spots something that the Undertaker does not, and no one else in the building does. It is actually Eric Angle who is being pinned by the Undertaker, and Kurt Angle jumps in for that quick roll-up pin. The surprise roll-up, the most devastating move in professional wrestling, and Kurt Angle retains the championship after getting his arse handed to him by the dead man Undertaker, and retains the championship. I really like the finish of this one. It is very inventive. It's Angle at his best, at his heelish best, and it's great. I love it. So yeah, it was actually Eric Angle who got last rided by the Undertaker, only for his brother Kurt to roll the Undertaker up and retain the championship. 3.5 cheap shots out of 5 I'm going to give this one, and Kurt Angle retains going into the month of December. The second Survivor Series match of the night. Considering the match, the pay-per-view is named after this match, so there's not many Survivor Series matches on this one, and so the tradition would continue thereafter for 20 years, and there would be the odd occasional elimination thing going off at Survivor Series. But certainly these days we are more like SmackDown versus Raw type thing going off, and last year was great because they brought NXT in as well, and NXT won, and it was great, and I loved it. I don't know what they're going to do this year to make it, make it awesome, but that's fine. Dudley Boyz, Bubba Ray, Devon, and the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, versus Edge, Christian, Bull Buchanan, and the good father of Right to Centre. So we're going to run down the order of eliminations. Matt eliminated first by Edge using the Edge-O-Matic. Next is Christian eliminating Devon Dudley via the Unprettier. Edge misses a spear next as he goes to try and spear Jeff Hardy and hits Bull Buchanan, and he goes to try and spear Bubba Ray rather, and hits Bull Buchanan instead. So that brings dissension into the ranks of their team. Bubba Ray capitalises and gets the pin on Bull Buchanan. He's out of there. Edge eliminated with the Bubba Bomb and a splash from Christian. So again, miscommunication here from the heel team, and Bubba gets the pin on Edge. The Good Father eliminates Bubba Ray next with a Death Valley Driver. Always liked the Good Father and the Godfather. Thought he was much better than he was given credit for based on his characters, really. Christian goes down to the Swanton Bomb from Jeff Hardy, and it is then Jeff Hardy and the Good Father left over. Val Venus interferes and accidentally clotheslines the Good Father, giving Jeff Hardy chance to to pin the Good Father for the win and the victory for his team, leaving Jeff Hardy as the sole survivor when he was big on the card. So we have a brawl with all the participants, with Jeff Hardy having won the match. The Right Centre come down to the ring first, followed quickly by Matt Hardy, his brother, and along with Bubba Ray and Devon. Mass brawl ensues. We get Bull Buchanan and Richards taking the Twist of Fate, a 3D to the Good Father, and a What's Up for Val Venus, before Venus goes through a table via a leg drop from Matt Hardy, and of course Richards goes through another table via the top rope powerbomb from Bubba Ray Dudley. 3.5 cheap shots out of 5 for this one. I really like this one. A pop for a table spot. I'm a year 2000 wrestling fan, and yeah, tables. Great, isn't it? Just, get the tables. Way. No disqualification match is the main event of the evening. It has been a year in the making. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H. It has been one heck of a year for Stone Cold Steve Austin. One heck of a year for Triple H. He's been there or thereabouts in the championship picture, starting the year as the champion and eventually getting to this storyline, which led to him being revealed as the mastermind behind the Stone Cold Steve Austin running over incident from the year previous. The weapons come out early in this one. Like I say, it is no disqualification. The referee does try and reason with them as if the weapons come out early, both attacking each other equally with equal viciousness throughout the first and the opening exchanges of this one, and a variety of foreign objects being used. Austin was on top for most of the opening exchanges until Triple H performs a neck breaker on Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well documented that the neck of Stone Cold Steve Austin was a little bit ropey at this point in time, pun intended. The action spills to the outside, and a pedigree attempt on the announce table leads to Austin reversing this into a back body drop, and Triple H goes straight through the announce table on the opposite side, taking out Triple H. The action spills backstage with Triple H luring Austin into a trap. The Radicals attack. Benoit then tries to lead Austin away from the melee as the referees and trainers and things like that all come in, try and separate everybody. Stone Cold, of course, fighting his way out. Benoit runs out into the parking lot. Austin doesn't follow. It's like, why is he not following me? So Benoit goes back. Turns out that Austin has preempted this and got into a forklift truck. And as Triple H is in the car, ready to run Austin over if he followed Benoit. He didn't. He knew this was going to happen, obviously. It's wrestling. But, he comes in with a forklift truck. And Austin is what Austin does. He picks up Triple H with him inside the car. Picks him up about 30 feet above the ground and drops him promptly onto the roof of the car. Triple H is trapped in the car. Austin runs off and celebrates his modicum of revenge after having pretty much killed a fellow wrestler. He wasn't dead, obviously. He turned up pretty much the next night. It is wrestling, but it looked good. It was fun, It looked good. I'm going to give that one 4 cheap shots out of 5. Sorry, I'm very, very tired at this point in the day. That was a good one. It was a good main event. A lot of payoff there. Not as much payoff as I wanted. I would have liked a definitive finish, but Austin is, as I said, what Austin does, and he just causes trouble and raises hell like he says he's going to do. So that was Survivor Series 2000. Definitely a step up, or several steps up, from the previous month, which was No Mercy. That pay-per-view was rubbish. This one was definitely a lot better, and we're moving into December. We're looking forward to the Armageddon Hell in a Cell match, the 6-person Hell in a Cell match. We've got that to look forward to, as well as Rebellion, which is actually in the UK at Sheffield Arena, and that is the next pay-per-view, and that will be coming to you on the 2nd of December 2020, because it's 20 years after the event in the year 2000. Anyway, we thank you very much for watching. You have been the Cheap Shot Nation. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all the YouTubey type stuff. I have been your host, Luke, and I will see you next time for more retro reviews right here on Cheap Shot Entertainment. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and keep watching old school wrestling. Goodbye.
Hiya.